So, hello, man. How is it going? All good.
Good. It's good. It's going crazy around here. LA's got this crime wave and shit. It's like 1994. I don't know what's going
Oh,
on.
what kind of crime wave?
It's like people are stealing like jewelry off of their what they call smash and grab, where they smash a
What?
window and just grab the shit in the and then run off. There's a lot of that right now.
What? Is
Yeah,
it
it's
some kind
crazy.
of like? Is it some kind of like TikTok thing that people are actually filming it, or?
I don't know what it is, but I think it's just people are feeling some desperate times, man.
Yeah, yeah, for
They're
sure.
desperate, and also we have an overcrowding in the jails, so they know that if they get arrested for the crime, they'll be out the next day because there's nowhere to keep them.
Ah, okay,
We
okay.
have a bad system here. I'm sure you know about it.
So, speaking about these times we have been living in for the past over a year and a half now, how has it actually been to you on a personal level?
I've had a couple of hard moments. I've had some hard moments. And then I'm thinking like, okay, it's not that bad. Because when this is all done, I'm gonna go back to making music and rocking out, like, but then I'm faced with the reality of the present moment, and I'm like, online with my kids and, you know, just how are we gonna tour this is how we make our
And
living.
the big question, when this is gonna end?
Yeah, when is it gonna end? How are we gonna, you know, make our mortgage payments and support our families because we all
Yep.
have big families at this point. Um, so there's moments of high stress. You know,
For sure.
what are we gonna do? How are we gonna, we can't have another online fucking concert. That's done. People are over that. Uh,
What kind
but
of experience it was for you? Sorry to
oh, we
interrupt.
loved it. We did it on the rooftop
Yeah, it
in
it looked
downtown
like
LA,
insane.
literally like 3 blocks from here. So
Oh,
we're
okay.
very close to my studio here, and it was fun. And we got out of the house, got to hang out. Everybody got tested, and got to go hang out on a rooftop in the cold for 2 days, 3 days. We
But
had a blast.
I guess it was also a therapy to do
It was
something like
it
that.
was great, and it was just like, oh, it felt good to play, even if it wasn't in front of a real audience, and it was kind of more TV driven.
Yeah.
TV can be dry because uh, there's, it's like, okay, let's do that one again. Take two. Fuck you mean take two? You know, musicians aren't
This
really
is a rock show.
great at take twos. So,
So obviously you also played a US tour and actually 3 out of 5 got COVID. So
yeah,
what
I
kind of
got it.
experience it was actually? Yeah, you had it as well. So
Yeah.
what kind of experience it was for you guys?
For me, I gotta tell you though, when the tour started, Jonathan was so worried about getting it. He was so fucking freaked out. He wouldn't leave his bus. He wouldn't leave his hotel. The only time we saw him was when he was out on the stage. And we're like, hey man, good to see you, rocking out. At the end of the show, bam, back to his bus. It was kind of funny. There was something quite funny about it. But then he got
But
it, and
still he managed to get it.
he still managed to get it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like, well, we're up on stage. There's thousands of people screaming at us with their germs and air, and of course, like, I'm surprised everybody didn't get it.
Yeah, it's weird that actually 3 out of 5 got it.
We think Brian had it earlier the year before.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
But he's protected by God. So
So what kind of like overall experience it was for you to play the tour?
it was fun. It was fun all the way until I got a positive result, and I was like, fuck. And then I was in hell. Then it was the best thing to the worst staying. I was in Salt Lake City, and you know, I had the whole all the symptoms, and it was terrible.
Was
And
it
then I
more
had-
like a mental health for being unable to play, or was it
no,
like?
no, it was just like this physical, like, yeah, there was a little bit of that. There was a little bit of seeing videos of, you know, my fill-in, you know, play on stage, and they came through LA, which is where we're from, and some West Coast shows that I missed. I mean, that was frustrating. Yeah, that was a little challenging mentally, but nothing a little NyQuil can handle.
So obviously we are doing this interview and talking now because you will be dropping a new album, Requiem, on February.
That's right.
So speaking about like the writing process first, what kind of experience it was for you?
For me, there was a lot of freedom. A lot of freedom in the sense because we were all locked down. You know, we went from this literally a quarantine to let's get everybody safe to this to our studio in California. Let's get everybody there safely. And then it was like this feeling of like, wow, we made it here. Like we can do anything. We can record whatever we want. We don't have to record anything. There was no label tied. We didn't have a label at the time. We got signed after the label heard the actual recording. So, you know, we wrote this on our own. There was no time restraint.
Was this the first time that you actually wrote an album without a label?
I think the one before that. No, that was the Nothing. No, I think it was. I think it was the first time we ever did that.
So
yeah, so there was a feeling of like, okay, we can do whatever we want. We have all this time. This is our studio. We don't have to pay anybody to be here. You know, we accept the engineer and the guitar tech, drum tech. You know, so it's like there was a sense of freedom in literal sense and psychological sense, where it's like, we made it here. Now we can record an album, or we can record a couple songs. And then we started to kind of get in this groove where we were writing maybe about one song every 2 days. We'd write half of it, start to get familiar with it. I mean, the music side of it, you know. And Jonathan was there every day. That's something new. That's something he hasn't done in the past, which really helped him when it came time for him to record his vocals. There was no surprises. There was no weird parts that he didn't like. He already knew how the track went. So subliminally, he had ideas, you know, he had melody ideas to lay over the top of it before he had gotten a hold of it and started to really dig in lyrically. But having him present in the studio was so fucking helpful, because we're not like, I hope he likes this type of shit. You know, it's like, well, this is cool. We're all vibing on it. And then there's that thing in the back of your mind, like, well, I hope he likes it. Man, he comes in, if he doesn't like it, what's the point? You know, then he's not going to want to sing over it. So we're just writing for the trash can.
Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, it does. We have a lot of B-sides. We have a lot of instrumental B-sides that maybe one day we'll release, and, you know, the world will hear it. But definitely we have a lot of B-sides with vocals, you know, that just like, even with this batch of songs, we have 2 or 3 B-sides that, you know, it was like we have 9 tracks on this album, which is not really a lot for an album. But even like the other songs, the ones that there was 2, 3, or maybe even 4 that that didn't make the album, because they weren't just the 9 that are on there are so solid. The other ones just didn't feel like, they just felt like maybe another album, or a you know, a B-side rarities album type of shit.
I was actually listening to the album through before this interview started, and I had the feeling that it sort of had the vibe of Untouchables.
Yeah, me too. I gotta agree with
Musically.
you. I
Yeah,
agree with you.
so I was actually wondering when the Nothing was sort of like super heavy album for you guys, and this is somewhat like in between a heavy and mellow of your stuff. So does it like sort of reflect the time you are living in and the phase you are living in as individuals that sort of is the result of what you are creating? Because in the Nothing, you like at least JD was living in quite tough times.
Yeah, yeah, he was going through a lot back then.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, even the track that we led the album off with Start the Healing, that wasn't planned. I mean, he named that track, you know, reflecting where he is in his life. And it just so happens, I think the whole world needs a little healing. And I think that's why it's sort of, it's people are liking the song because it's a bit uplifting for Korn, you know? Usually it's just doom and gloom, and the themes are kind of, but I think it comes with the maturity. I think it comes, you know, we're all 51 years old. We all have some experience in the studio and songwriting finally. Where
Yeah, you have few albums already out.
We can kind of communicate and not hurt each other's feelings when it comes to like, can you change this part to, yeah, that's better. Just change a note here or there, like a beat, to kind of suit where we are. You know, it's funny how a couple small changes can just move the song into a different area. But I do think it's a reflects. I mean, the songs on this album feel a little melancholy. Melodically, it takes you on a bit more of a journey than we've had in past years. It was like heavy song, you know. But this has a little bit wider range of, the spectrum is a little wider when it comes to the light and the dark. The lightness and the dark. There's brighter moments and there are darker moments.
Yeah, there are.
So, and it's reflective of to the time we were living in last year, locked in our fucking houses, and you know, we didn't know if anybody was ever going to hear these recordings. So it was like, we're making this for ourselves, you know.
Did it felt like a therapy?
It definitely did.
So my personal favorite track from the album is Hopeless and Beaten.
Me too.
And I love the sort of doom metal vibe the song has. So could you tell us a bit about the track?
Yeah, I mean that kind of touches on what I was saying about the light and the dark, because
yeah,
the song starts out so heavy and with these big heavy chords, and then drops down in this small little kind of like just a small kind of haunting melody that he's singing across, just to one guitar.
That song is Korn on its best.
That song's amazing.
Yeah.
And then the middle part takes you on this melodic sort of uplifting moment that we need to do more of, because that's one of my favorite moments of the album.
Who came up with the riff?
Oh, I mean, I don't remember. The verse riff was Head. I think I came up with the big heavy chords, the hits.
Yeah.
I think initially, you know, I'll come up with some rhythmic ideas and he'll change some of the notes to make it cool. So it's not all my note selections are great, but I definitely come up with some interesting rhythmic things that he always finagles into, like the hipster zone, I guess.
So obviously Fieldy also recorded the bass for the album, and obviously he wasn't with you on the US tour because he's trying to solve his personal issues, but when is like the last time that you have actually spoken with him, and what's the situation with him at the moment?
I texted him on his birthday, which is like a month ago, and I just wished him a happy birthday. I hope you're healthy. Hope you and your family are good. I miss you. Happy birthday type of short. You know, he's like, thanks. You know, hope you're well. Hope you and your family are good. Appreciate the happy birthday. You know, so that's really, you know, we're trying to pull back a little bit to just let him
So
figure things out, because ultimately we just want him to be happy.
Because and it's not good to push somebody who's trying to solve his things.
It's like just give him some
his
space,
time.
let him figure it out, and if his future in his mind is inclusive of Korn, then great. If not, just figure out what balance makes you a happy person. He's got kids. He's got an amazing. He's set up for an amazing life, you know, to live a long time, and we want him to be happy through that.
Yeah, for sure. And you have also had your own like ups and downs as a band, so I guess you have been in the same kind of situation before, so you kind of know how to handle these things already.
I do. Unfortunately, from firsthand experience, you know, I lost my dad in 2008, and I went, like, I had a manic episode where I was, you know, in and out of the psychiatric hospitals, and went kind of insane for a while. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to cope with it. Only thing I could do was use drugs and drink, and that made it worse. You know, and I didn't know it was making it worse. I thought it was helping it until I was, you know, sitting in a fucking handcuffed to a hospital bed, and then it was like, oh, maybe this is making it worse. And I'm having a doctor look over me and say, you got to stop this shit, you know, type of thing. So that's not where you want to end up.
Yeah, for sure. So thanks, Munky, a lot for the time, and best of luck with the upcoming album as well as for the future. Before we wrap things up, I want to ask you a bit about the future. So what kind of like actual plans do you have after putting the album out?
Well, you know, we plan on touring. We plan on going on a tour in March in the States, and then in the end of May, beginning of June, we plan on touring in Europe. And we have some dates. I believe we have one Finland date.
2 actually. You will be at Tuska and also province 2 days.
Okay, that's 2's even better.
Yep, it is good for us.
I know it's a big country, so we want to be able to make up the dates that we missed, and maybe add a few more, because, you know, why not? It's people are tired of being indoors and want to go out and enjoy themselves, and we hope that they come out to see the shows, and I hope they enjoy the album. As crazy as it was to make it, it reflects in the music.
Anything you want to say as last words to all the Finnish fans?
We need to play there more. I know we haven't in the past, and I feel like we haven't played there in 5 or 6 years, but they have.
I think the last show was the Circus, and it's been quite some time already. Yeah.
So our plan is to, you know, make sure that each time we come to Europe is to make sure we have a finished date on our schedule, because the loyalty that they have shown over decades, I appreciate it, and, you know, I hope we can repay the favor by coming to the country more and playing. So I appreciate it. So thank you.
Thanks, Munky, a lot for the chat.
Right on. Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon. See you in those 2 festivals. I will actually be seeing you 3 times next summer if you are
right on.
able to come.
Fingers crossed, brother. All right.
Yeah.
See you.
Bye.